with you because Dana has, we found out her past, like the heartbreak in her past. How did that inform her choices in life?
How did that inform her choices in life? Wow. I mean, I think the essence of who Dana is, or okay, how she moves through her life, um, is, she's very protected and she's very guarded, but just not in a way like she comes off as an open book. She comes off as though, um, I mean, I always say she doesn't really care what other people think, and I don't think that she does, but that's because she's in control of the version of herself that she presents to people. And that is the part where she doesn't really care what people think about her, because it's all, built to protect her from the tragic loss that she has experienced, that is very real and is probably the most vulnerable piece of who she is. So she's protecting that. But yeah, so I think that like her humor and her sarcasm is all has been developed over time as a way to move through the world safely. And I do think that what's nice is that she has this level of transparency, in terms of how she copes with her mental health, but she doesn't want to share the source of uh, her mental health issues, until she ends up getting the opportunity to at the end of episode 6 with these people who are her becoming her close friends and becoming a family in a way. Um, yeah.
And we saw her be so vulnerable around Wolf in the Bride episode, where the husband died. What was
Yeah.
that like for you to bring that to screen, that vulnerability to screen?
Oh my gosh. That scene had given me, the actor, so much anxiety because I'm very new to TV and film, and I hadn't really had that. There was a very specific request, from the people creating the show as to how that moment is supposed to go in terms of like the emotional level. And I remember talking to Ashleigh about it, and just like really stressing out. I'm like, what if I can't deliver? I want to represent this character really well. I think I was very self-absorbed in that moment of like, I don't want to do a bad job as an actor. And Ashleigh has shared this kind of anecdote with me throughout where she said, like, it's really not about you and your acting, it's about like creating something that people can feel seen in. And so that kind of gave me a little bit more agency in terms of like, okay, like this actually has a purpose, and it's not about me and my ego and my vanity. It's about like, how do we reach towards people and hopefully create a space where like somebody can see themselves in this character. And yeah, I mean, that was the second scene of that episode that I had to shoot. Um, and it was, I spent the whole weekend alone and I didn't talk to anybody. And I like walked down the street. I would walk around the streets of Toronto for hours and just be like, can I do this? Can I focus on this thing? And like, what are the things that I summon to, um, you know, produce that level of emotion? But what is really interesting for me and was a huge development for me as an actor is that like, for the first time, it became, what are, what is Dana going through? And it was not, I didn't have to call upon my own, experiences in order to bring that. And I think that's what made it so much stronger and more honest, is that it's not, I really got to shape this character and her life, and I care about her so much. And I got to rely on her story, thanks to the writers and help from my friends, and that was like a really a huge leap for me as an actor.
So Ashley, with Erica, I feel like we're only just scratching the surface of her. But she's so calm and collected. What was that like for you to bring this? She is the quarterback of the team. What was it like for you to bring this character to life?
It's really fun. I think I'm a person who feeds off of energy. So I think as a human being, I tend to run pretty calm. Uh, this group does not run calm at all. This group is like full of life and energy. So I think it was actually a really fun challenge because they are so like, you know, Aury is like gregarious and bubbly. Spence is like everybody's best friend. And it's just like a ball of like warmth. Alex is like homies and knows everybody's name. So I think it was the challenge actually for me was like bringing myself down after hanging out with everyone whose energy is like a constant, like we'd be in the green room and then I'd be like, okay, and now Ericka, and Ericka can't be out here like having a good time and kikiing and being, Ericka has to subdue. So it was a constant me being like, subdue yourself, subdue, get your, calm down, calm down.
So we've sort of got this real life is mimicking like the show, or the show's mimicking real life, in that you have all just come together and you're building this bond and this family. What was that like for both of you? And, you know, did it help just starting from scratch and building it on the outside as well as on the inside?
I would say it was helpful. I will say that this group of people, the actors, yes, but also like the writers, the crew is just so lovely. Everyone who came to our set was like, this is an amazing set to be a part of. And I wholeheartedly agree because I think there was such a warmth and there was such a desire to like create this beautiful thing together. So it was really fun at first. I was like, I don't know what this is going to be. And then it ended up being this experience of like lovely people that like I would do this again and again with because I really appreciate and adore like everyone in the cast, in the crew, people that I didn't even interact with that much that I might only say hi like once a month, but like everyone was such an integral part of making this show. And it was really fun to get to build these relationships off screen and then sort of it kind of just translates on screen, I think.
Yeah. Everyone really cares about each other. It's really wholesome. It's really beautiful. And this is my first like series regular and kind of my first big job. So I didn't really know what I was going to be getting into. And a lot of my friends who have been working on TV shows have said, like, you know, you'd better hope that your number one is great as a human being. And it's, you know, it's very rare to get somebody who cares. And like I have to speak to Zach as a leader, and he everything that he asks for is because he wants the show. He is so committed to maintaining the integrity and like the greatest potential of how good our show can be. And that means that he is always there for you when you're doing your coverage and there's no camera on him. He is giving you everything. He's giving you 100%. He's playing with you. You can feel the energy that he's giving to you to succeed in those moments. And I know that that's very rare on set. And that just kind of sets the tone. And everybody keeps saying like it starts at the top, the nature of like how the set is going to be. And because we have Michael Grassi there, who also just like is so deeply committed to making the best show that we can make. And like that means connecting with each of us individually and making sure that like we are happy, we're understanding what's going on. And like there's so much care involved in every piece of how we made this. And so it makes it really easy for all of us to work together.
It's hard to
So
work with, but everyone else is great.
Ashleigh's a bully, but otherwise I'm
so I'm holding out hope for season 2. Like it has to happen. But let's say it doesn't because, you know, TV.
Right.
What is one thing that you would both take from this series?
I think the experience of getting to tell a story that matters. It feels important. It feels timely. It feels relevant. It feels like we are giving voice to people who might not necessarily frequently see themselves on TV or see themselves represented or see issues that they're dealing with represented. So I would say, I guess the joy of like knowing that like we've done something important with this show.
Yeah, the show has a very distinct purpose. I totally agree. And like getting to share, like I went to a screening of the pilot in September and someone came up to me and shared that like they had grown up in elderly people's homes because their parent was a live-in nurse for dementia patients. And just, it was the first person who I got to speak to who had seen the show and got to watch it and say, oh my God, that's exactly what I went through. And, you know, they shared that like the woman had been a piano teacher and she hadn't really been speaking. She very similar to Harold in the pilot. She, you know, she didn't talk to them. She kind of stared at the wall. And one day he started banging on the piano, and the first thing they ever heard her say was like, will you get that little boy to stop banging on my piano? And they started playing, he started to learn the piano because of this woman. And he was like, she came alive. She talked to us, she would sing. And that really like put into perspective like why we're making the show. um and yeah, it just feels like there's such a distinct purpose, and it feels unprecedented, and I hope we get to do it again. But yeah, it's a necessary piece of storytelling, and I hope we get to do more of it.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's all I've got time for. But yeah, I'm holding out hope for season 2. I'm manifesting it. It's gonna happen.
Has
Yeah.
to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.